Welcome back to NBA Cinema. So I'm pretty sure everyone's watching this LeBron James, Pat McAfee interview that's going on right now. And obviously, we're going to get into his response to Stephen A. Smith. As I told y'all the other day, this is going to be a response to Stephen A. and him going on ESPN and doing this with Pat McAfee, who's been, you know, obviously a rival of Stephen A. Smith since he's been over there at the network. They've had cursing and shouting matches behind the scenes. Um, LeBron knew what he was doing when he came on, but he addressed Stephen A. Smith and he went in, man. Now we're gonna look at what Stephen A. had to say first, and then we're gonna look at what LeBron said on Pat McAfee. Listen.
You see, I don't run and hide. If I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. I was never shitting on Bronny James. I wouldn't do that to the James family. I was talking about one person and one person only. We may never speak in life again. I'm fine with it. I get paid to talk about folks, not to them. I cover the league. You play, I watch, dissect, analyze, and broadcast. We ain't gotta communicate. We damn sure don't have to say hello to each other. We don't have to do none of that. We don't get along. And there's a multitude of reasons why. I've alluded to some of them, but we know what the biggest reason is. I ain't Shannon Sharp. It ain't GOAT status this way. My GOAT is Michael Jordan. 35,000 points, eclipsing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with over 38,000, ultimately 40,000, now 50,000, another all-star appearance, another 50-point game, whatever. Ain't my GOAT. I watch the game. I'm a student of the game. I know a GOAT when I see one.
Yep.
Which leads obviously to you and Stephen A. Hey, legit, that feels like a moment that had been brewing for a long time.
He's like on a Taylor Swift tour run right now.
Oh yeah, yeah, we're watching it. Yep. We're all seeing it.
Oh yeah,
you're seeing it as well.
He literally, it started off with, I didn't want to address it.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't want to address it. I wasn't going to address it, but since the video came out, I feel the need to address it.
Yeah, went viral. You would be not to talk about it.
Are you kidding me? If there's one person that couldn't wait to the video to drop so you could address it, it's your ass. Like seriously, and like another, he completely like missed the whole point. The whole point. Never would I ever not allow people to talk about the sport, criticize players about what they do on the court. That is your job, to criticize or to, be in a position where, okay, if a guy's not performing, that is all part of the game. That's all part of the game. But when you take it and you get personal with it, it's my job to not only protect my damn household, but protect the players. And I think a lot of the media, including him, and I know he's gonna be happy as hell. He's gonna be smiling from ear to ear when he hears me talking about him again. Oh my God, he's gonna get home and grab some ice cream out of the fucking freezer and sit in his chair in his tighty whities on the couch.
I hope at some point you two do get a chance. But you're right.
Dude, relax, bro. Relax. Seriously.
It's always good to hear from LeBron James in a candid interview. I like the questions that Pat McAfee is asking. Obviously, we wanted the Stephen A. Smith thing to come up on ESPN, and this is a major flex for LeBron to get to talk about Stephen A. on ESPN. Stephen A. will be responding, which he got the right to, and I'm looking forward to that as well. But LeBron is pretty much saying that Stephen A. Was like that content when it came out. Not that he was fishing for it that night, but, when he seen it, he's saying that the wheels was turning in Stephen A's head, that, this is content I'm going to have to address, and I'll be able to parlay this into several podcast appearances and everything. Not that Stephen A. necessarily needs that, but he said that Stephen A. wasn't gonna run from the fact that that was big time content, and he was gonna milk it. You know, that's kind of what LeBron James is saying now. LeBron spoke about other things, talking about Giannis in the 70s. He spoke about the way the media covers the game. But it was interesting, you know, that he was able to get that off about Stephen A. Smith on ESPN. That's such a I like the way LeBron is playing that, you know, just from observation standpoint, you know, the way he's coming at Stephen A. Smith on the network that Stephen A. Smith has kept alive, you know what I'm saying, at certain times before, you know, they brought Pat McAfee in and others. It was Stephen A. on every show, and for LeBron to come drop that hammer down on ESPN, you know, I definitely understand it, you know, very calculated. But what LeBron was saying was was like, just don't come at my household. I'm gonna protect my household. Don't come at me as a father. And I always said that those was the trigger words. You know, I don't know how people in the comments, some people on my other channel was saying I was hating. I just said that was the trigger word. And LeBron James basically just said, you know, don't come at my household as a father. That part being the part that irritated him. I don't understand how that's hating on LeBron when I'm saying the same thing that he just confirmed. You know, so some people, and I ain't talking to everybody because some people understand, you know, and some people have differences of opinion, but you can't be so quick to defend somebody that you're not hearing what is being said. You know, I have no dog in the fight. I give LeBron props, one of the greatest players to ever play. I'm not, you know, one of these people just hating on LeBron James. When LeBron do his thing, I say what it is. LeBron also talked about when he stopped trusting media, and everyone knows this. It was around the time of the decision because LeBron was the darling of the NBA up to that point, right, where he could do no wrong, model citizen. He really didn't do no wrong, honestly. You know, he took, unless you want to say something about the competitive balance, him joining Dwayne Wade, if that's your angle, Chris Bosh. But as far as a player taking you know, control of their career, you know, it is what it is. We may not have loved it, you know, just from a competitive standpoint, but he ain't do nothing wrong. You know, there's a lot of people doing things wrong out there, and I'm fair enough to not just overly look into nostalgia. Like some of those guys who were stuck in some of those contracts of playing with people they didn't like had the opportunity to leave back in the 80s and the 90s like they did at the time LeBron did, they would have left. You know, so I'm not so nostalgic that I don't recognize those variables, right? But I am nostalgic to the point, like he said, Giannis would have scored 250 in an NBA game in the 70s. No, he wouldn't have. They would have been knocking him down. He wouldn't be running over Moses Malone, all them guys. Nah, Giannis ain't going to be running over them. He probably play decent, you know, play well, but he going to be at the foul line. He going to have to make free throws. And it's just too many variables. You wouldn't even be taught the game like that to bring it up the court and come downhill. He would have rebounded. He would have passed the ball to the point guard and ran up the floor. That's how the game would have been played, you know. So, but yeah, man, we're going to be reacting to so much from this interview. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.